This call is being recorded.
Good evening. It's 6 p.m. It's a little bit 6:01 actually. My name is Joan Lucci. I'm a wellness advocate with doTERRA International, and I'm also the founder of Essential Oils 3030. Tonight we have with us a co-host who you've heard for the past couple of weeks. Astrid Parris is my co-host this evening, so she will be joining us in just a few seconds. Today is February 15th, 2018. And our topic is internal use of essential oils. And I am particularly excited about this because that was kind of the way that I became excited about essential oils. And it created a whole new world for me, which began with food and kind of went crazy after that. So internal use of essential oils is our topic. Before we get started in our topic, let's just briefly review what are essential oils. And I'll begin by saying for many of us, they have become empowering, healthy, natural solutions. So for those of us who are looking for alternatives, for things that are safe and natural and effective in our healthcare bag of tricks, in our medicine cabinets, essential oils can be a way to go. We hope that after tonight, you'll consider them. So with a modern approach to healthcare, we treat symptoms. The whole healthcare system is designed to manage symptoms. And usually we're looking to synthetic agents, to things like take a pill to fix a problem. It's a $6.5 trillion a year industry spent on global healthcare. So it addresses symptoms. When we talk about essential oils as a solution, this is a natural approach and it addresses the body's needs at root causes. Essential oils are extracted from plants. Not all plants produce them, but the ones that do, the essential oil protects the plant from disease and also from environmental threats. And they can work very similarly with our physiology. They are safe to use. You don't have to worry about having bad side effects from them like you do with prescription drugs or over-the-counter drugs, but they can be used for many, many purposes, from physical all the way to emotional. So we're thinking of total body health and well-being. Consider essential oils. As I mentioned, they're safe, they're natural, they're effective. They come from compounds from plant life, and they naturally occur in aromatic compounds of plants. They're extracted and distilled for their health benefits. They contain literally hundreds of compounds to give us versatility and effective ways to combat threats without building up resistance to them. And they work at the cellular level. They're one of the few things in nature that can penetrate the cell membrane. So these can work deep, not just at the surface and not just for small things. They can work for big things too. So all kinds of health issues. They work at the cellular level with the body to address these issues and root causes. They are extremely powerful. I like to use the example of 1 drop of peppermint oil is equivalent to about 28 cups of peppermint tea. That is powerful. And so when we look at them that way, they're affordable. They're just pennies per dose. And tonight, the ones that we're talking about are produced by doTERRA International, who is the world's largest supplier of therapeutic grade essential oils. These are produced at a very, very high standard, way beyond organic, certainly way beyond food grade. They are produced at a therapeutic grade doTERRA calls CPTG, or Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. And it begins with planting the best from the best seeds, harvesting them in their natural habitat. They are completely free from fillers, harmful contaminants, any kind of adulterants at all. And we use a very stringent third-party testing. I think it's 8 levels of testing to ensure authenticity, potency, and purity and effectiveness. So that's the doTERRA difference. And because of the quality of these essential oils, they can be used 3 ways. Aromatically, which we talked about on February 1st. Topically, that was our topic for February 8th last week. And this week, we're going to talk about how to use them effectively in an internal application. So, pretty exciting stuff. I'm going to flip over to our presentation tonight. And I also would like to turn the floor over to Astrid. Hey, Astrid. Astrid, I'm going to mute my phone too, so you don't hear any little clicking in the background. If you need for me to come back, just holler. Okay?
I will do that. Hi,
Welcome, Miss
everybody.
Astrid.
Hope you're all having a good day. And yes, thanks for the good introduction to the essential oils and what essential oils are. And our all favorite CPTG, I'm still practicing the acronym. And since we're talking about internal use of essential oils, for me, that's very, very at the top of the list. I've been a certified aromatherapist for 15 years, and I personally do not want to put anything in my body that I don't trust. So that high standard that doTERRA has is therefore for me a really great thing, because I've not used any other oils ever internally. But doTERRA, every day I use them internally. And why would I use them internally? Because there's other methods of applications, obviously, that we had already talked about, aromatically and topically. And a lot of the essential oils have similar benefits when used internally, but you can get slightly different effects from it, and you can get sometimes more in-depth effects from it, depending on what you use them for. So they offer both a localized use as well as systemic benefits. For instance, localized, I'm talking when you have a sore throat and you gargle with essential oil, water with essential oils, or you have an upset stomach and you use some essential oils internally to calm down your stomach. So that's where internal application works a little bit different from topical. And internally, essential oils also promote a healthy cell function, and they support gastrointestinal health and maintain healthy immune function. Really important at the moment with all whatever is going around, flu and whatever else have you. And also the essential oils help cleanse the body internally. And one of the fun things to use them for is they're really great to add flavor to food and beverages. That's a really fun part that I'm just beginning to discover. And Joan is helping me with that. So how do the essential oils work when they take them internally, and why? As Joan had mentioned earlier when she was explaining what essential oils are, they are plants, come from plants, and that sometimes we would ingest as food. And just like the foods that we consume, the essential oils become metabolized or processed through the body. And during that process, they travel through the gastrointestinal tract directly into the bloodstream. And from there, they can be distributed throughout the entire body. And as with everything, too much of a good thing is not good. So with essential oils also, our body can only handle so much. There's appropriate and safe doses, like with everything that we put into our body. Then the question comes up, always an important question, is it safe to use the essential oils internally? I mean, if I put something on my skin, that doesn't mean that I would necessarily eat it. And so the short answer to that question is absolutely yes, they are safe to use internally, because they come from natural compounds that we encounter in nature, and therefore, unlike chemical man-made components, our bodies, evolutionarily speaking, grew and evolved along with the plants. So we are, from that angle, a lot more adapted to handling an internal processing of essential oils than something that's completely chemically new to our bodies, where our bodies probably say, oh, what the heck is that I just ate? I don't even know what to do with that. You don't have that with essential oils. And that means our bodies are designed to metabolize the natural compounds that are found in fruits and other plants, and therefore also can process the essential oils and metabolize them. And always with safety, like in nature, there are some plants that you wouldn't eat that are not safe or not recommended, and we will talk about those in a little bit. And I know that Joan actually can really speak from personal experience or from her history how she came to essential oils about safe for internal use.
And actually, Jackie's on the call tonight, so I'm going to give her a little credit for giving me a really wonderful gift, Astrid. She gave me the gift box of lavender, lemon, and peppermint. And that was a couple years ago. And I have to say, I used those every day until they were probably gone after the first month. But those were three of the essential oils that can be used safely for internal use. And there are many, many more. When we think about what we use in our normal daily life for food and beverage preparation, we think of things like black pepper, basil, cinnamon, cilantro, lime, lemon. These are all essential oils. They're foods and spices and flavorings that we use, but we can actually get the essential oil from this collection, this doTERRA collection. And these are just a few that I use every day for internal use. Some of them, like fennel, I might use for an upset stomach. So I might put it in my apple fennel salad, but I also love to put it in a little cup of tea before bedtime. It's fantastic. It can help you fall asleep. So these can be used many, many ways internally. Few others to mention, and actually, I'm going to back up a little bit and let's talk about the FDA, the US Food and Drug Administration. They actually have a whole list of essential oils that have been approved generically for internal use. So these are classified using the acronym GRAS, G-R-A-S, and this stands for Generally Recognized as Safe. There are two other codes. One is FA, Food Additive, and FL, Food Flavorings. So most of the ones I just mentioned are the GRAS category, generally recognized as safe. And these are typically considered to be foods. Some of the other ones that offer, that are under the designation FA and FL for food additive and flavoring are, this is interesting, dill, frankincense, melaleuca, myrrh, patchouli, sandalwood, and vetiver. A little later, I'll share a really great recipe that uses vetiver. It's a beverage. Maybe you'll even guess what it is. But these are just a few. And we're going to talk about more about how to safely use them, because there are things that we need to learn. Oregano in our slideshow is highlighted. It is considered a hot essential oil. And I typically will not use a full drop of oregano in a recipe. And to get less than a drop, you simply take a toothpick, insert it, clean toothpick, insert it into the bottle. And I actually have that one. I have 2 bottles of oregano, one that I just use for cooking and one that I use for health benefits. So dip the toothpick into the oregano bottle, take that toothpick and stir it right into your marinara or your vinaigrette, whatever it is you're making. You'll have the beautiful flavor of real 100% pure therapeutic grade essential oil. So I highly recommend using these for food, beverage, and of course, it took me a little while to learn this, but once I caught on, they have amazing health benefits. I like to think of essential oils as one of the most unique ways to boost flavor in foods, and at the same time, you're getting a healthy boost. So, when in doubt, if you're curious about which essential oils to use internally and which ones should not be, three things: read the label, read the label, and read the label. All of doTERRA products are labeled with how to use instructions. And when they are tested and safe to use and recommended for internal use, they'll have supplement facts on the side of the bottle. Typically, it'll say 1 drop per serving, and it will also indicate if you're using it in a beverage or liquid or any kind of a dish that you're making that has liquid qualities, dilute 1 drop of essential oil in 4 fluid ounces of liquid. So that's a really great guideline. But look for those supplement facts on the side of the bottle. That's the easiest way to tell if an essential oil is safe for internal use. Also, I encourage you to use doTERRA's literature. It is completely amazing. There's so much information in our product guide, for instance. Astrid spoke earlier about the different icons. Tonight we're talking about internal. So look for the eye icon with the circle, and that always in the printed literature that indicates it's safe for internal use. We also have something called product information pages. We call them PIPs for short. And every product information page contains this kind of information. It will show you the icons for application methods: A for aromatic, T for topical, I for internal, and skin sensitivity. So if you're using it topically, N means neat, N-E-A-T, or undiluted. S indicates if you have sensitive skin, you want to dilute. And D means always dilute. And this applies to using them internally too. Like the hot oils, oregano, you want to use it very sparingly, and you're going to want to dilute it either with your marinara or some other liquid. So another rule of thumb, if the common name is lemon, for example, we know that lemon's going to be safe for ingesting. Again, when in doubt, though, look at that label, look for the supplement facts. When we talk about safety, who can safely use essential oils internally? Certainly, anyone who is a healthy adult should be thinking about maintaining good health and balanced health with essential oils. They can also be used by children, age 6 and older. And you might want to put it in a little dollop of honey with some nice warm water. For a sore throat, for instance, a little honey and lemon essential oil. But children love the flavor, and we should certainly use them as a health tool with our kids. They can also be used for our family pets. And one caution is that we do not recommend using them with cats. Cats fine to use them topically and aromatically, but internal use of essential oils for cats, not a good thing. According to Dr. Mia Frezzo, who is a veterinarian. Also, Dr. Janet Rourke has talked about this. So we want to be very careful in our home. If we have cats, stay away from putting bowls of water infused with lemon essential oil on the floor when you have cats in the house. A drop of lemon in drinking water for dogs, for horses, for most farm animals can be very, very beneficial, can help boost their immune system. But when you are infusing water with essential oils for pets, make sure that you always give them an out. Give them a second bowl or trough that is plain water, nothing else in it. So unadulterated water. Make sure they have the choice. And you will see them. You will see horses. Some go to the lemon water and others kind of turn up their nose and go to the plain water. So those are just some tips on how to use them with adults, pets, and children. There are some other guidelines that we want to keep in mind when we're using them internally.
Thank you. And thanks for mentioning the fennel, because I totally forgot I used to love fennel tea in Germany. And it's not so commonly found here. And you just reminded me I can just put a drop of fennel essential oil into water. So I'll certainly try that. As Joan mentioned, there's a few safety guidelines for essential oils, appropriate doses. Always remember that more is not better. Moderation is really the best thing with essential oils because they are so highly concentrated. And keep in mind that there is a potential of sensitivity. And if you completely overdo it, then they also can have a toxicity, just like everything else that you totally overdo. Maybe there's a half a glass of wine. A glass of wine is okay if you drink 4 or 5 bottles in a sitting, not so much. And if it's more, then there's a toxicity, certainly, and with other items as well. Everything that we overdo becomes toxic. And there are some essential oils that are generally not recommended for internal use, which is arbor vitae, cedarwood, cypress, Douglas fir, eucalyptus. Sorry for that. Again, so not recommended for internal use is arbor vitae, cedarwood, cypress, Douglas fir, eucalyptus, spikenard, and wintergreen. And when we take essential oils internally, dosage is a very important thing to consider for safety. And your best bet is always starting with 1 or 2 drops of essential oil, because you can always put another drop in, but you can't take it away. So it's better to start with small dosages. And a recommended dose is 1 to 5 drops. Don't do more than 5 drops. It's total overkill. And smaller dosages can be repeated every 4 to 6 hours as needed. Do not do it every half hour or so. That's too much. And as a total combined, do not ingest more than 20 to 40 drops within 24 hours. That would mean everything included. Say if you cook with essential oil and then you add essential oil to your water, and then maybe you put some essential oils under your tongue, or you put them in a capsule, or you take supplements that contain essential oils. As a combination, you should stay within the realm of 20 to 40 drops within 24 hours. And there are some essential oils that you would always want to dilute because they are considered hot oils before you ingest them. That's cassia, cinnamon, clove, cumin, oregano, and thyme. In our presentation that will be made available with the replay, there's also a nifty little chart that indicates the recommended ideal amounts for all different types of applications, and it also breaks it down for adults and children. We have mentioned earlier that some essential oils can cause skin sensitivities, and like with everything else, we can also sometimes have sensitivities in general to any kind of thing that we come in contact with. And I had actually a friend reach out to me this week earlier and asking me, she had been using some essential oils and she was experiencing what she thought was an allergic reaction. And so she asked me, well, could it be that I'm allergic to this essential oil? And actually, essential oils cannot cause what is really called an allergic reaction, because in a true allergic reaction, our body reacts adversely to a protein. Essential oils do not contain any proteins. So in that way, we cannot have an allergy to an essential oil. However, we can have a sensitivity reaction to an essential oil. And we know that we have that because we are experiencing things that can be very similar to allergies. But you cannot get an anaphylactic reaction to an essential oil because that is a shock, an anaphylactic shock. That is an allergic response. It's not possible from an essential oil. And if you encounter any kinds of reactions that are unpleasant, then, for instance, when you take oils internally, you can drink some water after, dilute things, or you can reevaluate an oil that you might be sensitive to when you take it internally. Maybe you can still use it topically or aromatically. It's just a little bit too intense for you to use it internally. Or to give you an example, for myself, Copaiba is a very great, relatively new oil that has super benefits. And it's often recommended to take 1 to 2 drops under the tongue. And I personally, for me, it's too intense. And so I put it either into one of these little veggie caps that you can get from doTERRA, or I put it in a glass of water. And what I also do to make it easier to really only get the number of drops that I want, I replace the little reducer at the top of the bottle with a lid that has a glass pipette dropper in it. So that way I really only ever get the same amount of drops as I actually want. And when we're talking about toxicity in the area of essential oil, toxicity actually is the point when something that we ingest becomes damaging or harmful. And anything and everything can be toxic in excessive amounts. And all the recommendations, these recommendations of 20 drops to maximum within 24 hours, as well as all recommendations of the number of supplements to take, are always way below toxicity levels. So even if you double the number of drops there, you would not be even close to toxicity levels. But you should really always stick to what's recommended and not multiply. And to sum this up, we can use essential oils internally in most 5 common ways is adding to beverages, or take the doTERRA oils in veggie caps that you can get from doTERRA. You can put drops directly under your tongue, or you can take doTERRA supplements, and you can cook with them, and you can, of course, combine all of these methods. It's not, say, when you put essential oils in your water, you can only take it in water, but you can take the supplements. And so we've spoken about all of these with the exception of adding the essential oils for cooking, and having Joan with us, who is a chef by trade, and she has so much more experience with that part of using essential oils. So I'll turn this over to Joan.
Thank you, Astrid. Before I get to the fun food stuff, I'd like to also mention that there are many doTERRA products that are expressly made for the purpose of using them internally. Certainly our On Guard products, everything from the blend, 50 milliliter blend, to the beadlets and throat drops. On Guard is our protective blend, so this is a really great one to have on hand. Beadlets are also available in peppermint, and with each beadlet, whether it be On Guard or the peppermint, they contain about 1/4 drop of pure essential oil. And that's it. Of course, is the coating, the little beadlet coating, but one complete drop of essential oil, or 1/4, I should say. Some other products that doTERRA makes, which I am so grateful for, are the Digestin soft gels for digestive issues. And also we make something called a Digest Tab, which is, I forget what that ingredient is called, that little chalky, but that'll help too for a real quick fix, if you're feeling a little indigestion or any kind of digestive discomfort. One of my favorites has become the Slim and Sassy, which is a metabolic blend. You can use the blend, 15 milliliter blend in water or drop under the tongue. It's great in a smoothie, but also comes in a soft gel if you don't like the taste of it. And it also comes as an ingredient in our chewing gum. There's a Slim and Sassy chewing gum, which is so great, so delicious. And if you're feeling like you just need a little something to hold you over for another hour before dinner or whatever, pop one of those chewing gum tablets into your mouth, and they just taste really good. And it's got the metabolic blend in the chewing gum. So there's just a few to mention. Tri-Ease is one of my favorites. That's a seasonal soft gel blend of equal parts lavender, lemon, and peppermint. Remember I talked about that great kit that Jackie gave me? Well, all three of those essential oils are in that blend, which comes in a soft gel. So that's Tri-Ease, and that's great for this time of year when here in New Mexico, we've got elm and juniper and another one. There's another one, ash or something, I forget. But three things that are starting to go up the chain to high levels of pollen counts. So Tri-Ease is a great one to have on hand during this time of year. So let's get to the food stuff. I'm going to start with a couple of my favorites. And actually, Astrid, I'm going to call you back in for a minute. Come on back for a minute. She does three things. One thing in particular that I grabbed that idea, and I do it every day too, but I know that you've got a couple of great ways to use lemon essential oil. Would you share that with us?
Absolutely. So I really, for food, that's the one oil that I'm using the most, is the lemon, and absolutely love it for putting it in oatmeal or pancakes. And for me, it adds, it's not sour, but it adds like a complexity of the flavor. It's just wonderful. And I also like to use it in coffee. Excuse me. And I kind of had that idea because I noticed that in Italy, they give you, when you order an espresso, oftentimes a piece of lemon rind with it. And so in my wild youth, I had a Sicilian boyfriend. And so I once asked him, well, why do they give you the lemon rind with that? And he explained to me that they put it in the cup of espresso when they don't want to use sugar, but they want to take the edge of the bitter from the espresso. And one day when I had some coffee that I didn't care for that much because it was a little bit strongly roasted for me, and it was quite bitter, and I thought, hey, I have nothing to lose, and I just tried it out and put a drop of lemon oil into the cup of coffee, and it completely took away the bitterness. but did not add anything. I can't really say that it tasted like lemon.
I agree.
That's something that I have now come to use a lot also with the lemon oil.
Thank you for sharing that. And I use it in my coffee every morning now. I have a cup of espresso in the morning, and it just takes the bitter edge off of that cup of coffee, and it's so delicious. Lemon is something that I also, or any of the citruses, lemon, lime, are great if you have children, or if you're trying to watch your own sugar intake. Consider replacing your soda with a homemade lemon limeade type thing, just sparkling. You could even use unsparkling, but sparkling water, just a plain sparkling water, and just add a little lemon, lime, or ginger. If you want to get to a ginger ale type flavor, a drop of ginger, amazing. I also use juniper in a drink that I call gin and tonic. It's a virgin or alcohol free version of the gin with a GIN. This one I call JIN. I make my own little gin and tonic with juniper essential oil. So, juniper, a very neutral, delicious tonic water. And then I also add a little bit of a drop of bergamot and a drop of lime. It is absolutely delicious. And most really fine gins are made with juniper berry and with bergamot. So combine those two and then the lime, and I've got my fabulous gin and tonic. Another thing that I mentioned earlier in the presentation was a drink that I make with vetiver. It's called a koos lassi. And if you're a fan of Indian food, you may have had, I'm trying to think of what the popular ones are. The orange mango lassi. Mango lassis are very popular. Koos lassis are rare to find because the underlying ingredient is vetiver. So I have a recipe. I'd be happy to share it with you. It's a recipe for a koos lassi made with vetiver essential oil. Fantastic. And there's wonderful health benefits there. It's a yogurt drink. So consider infusing your drinking water with essential oils. We already mentioned this, some of the citruses, lemon, lime, grapefruit. Another really good one is cinnamon. If one of your health goals is to balance your blood sugar, cinnamon is wonderful in your drinking water or as a tea. And whenever you're using essential oils as a tea, make sure that it's not quite at the boiling point, because if it's too hot, it's going to start degrading the health benefits of the essential oil. Some of my other favorite dishes, I make a quick pho with essential oils. Believe it or not, I can do this in 35, 40 minutes, usually something that takes all day to make. But because I have the essential oils, I put all the flavor in at the very end with my essential oils. A quick guacamole recipe, it's just avocado. And I'll sometimes use a little bit of lime juice if I have fresh lime. If I don't, I go right to my essential oils. A drop of lime, could be 2, maybe even 3, lime essential oil, and a drop of cilantro essential oil. The most delicious guacamole, so simple, and you don't have to have the fresh ingredients, plus you get the health benefits. I make a chimichurri for meat, fish, and one of my favorite ways to use the chimichurri is on raw oysters. But chimichurri, if you're familiar, we do a lot of that here in the Southwest. It starts with a base of parsley, and it's got some great flavors. And then, as I mentioned, I like to use fennel for upset stomach, but it's also really great, fennel and cinnamon, if you're having sweet cravings. So adding a little fennel or cinnamon to water or tea can really help with that. Petitgrain, sublingually, or dill in a warm cup of tea can really help with restful sleep. And as I mentioned, I use fennel for that purpose also. But petitgrain, and dill are excellent to promote restful sleep. And grapefruit is one of my favorites. It helps to boost metabolism naturally. It's one of the ingredients in our Slim and Sassy metabolic blend, but grapefruit on its own is delicious and wonderful. And of course, Roman chamomile, also for sleep, but it can be used during the day if you're just trying to soothe body and mind. Roman chamomile. So those are the ones that I'd like to share with you this evening. And I'd like to mention that we're back next week. I'm going to wrap this up because it's 6:43. So we're going to open up the call for your questions, comments, and maybe you've got an essential oil story to share. Let me mention we'll be back next week. We don't have our topic nailed down yet, so it's a bit of a surprise at the moment. Same time and same phone number, or go online to uberconference.com/Joan Lucci. In the recording of this, which will be available at santa.fe.com/archives, I'll also be including a free ebook called Internal Use of Essential Oils and some additional links and resources to help support you in your journey with essential oils. And hopefully you'll start using them internally for health benefits and for the most amazing boost of flavor you could ever imagine. So thank you very much. If you'd like to share an experience or if you have a question or comment, please press star to unmute. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? It's Silima
Very
from
good.
Massachusetts.
Thank you. Yep. Hi everybody. I use under my tongue. I use frankincense
Frankincense,
and
okay.
copaiba.
And what do you think about the no sensitivity or?
No, I taste of both. Oh my God. And I bet I overdo
Mhm.
few times, and then I learned. Somebody told me when you put under your tongue, you not swallow. You keep it for like a minute or so. So then using that way, I was able to cut on the amount of frankincense that I was using.
Oh, so let it just sit in your mouth and naturally dilute and get into your system that way.
Yeah, I put under my tongue and I leave for a minute in my mouth
You
before
don't,
I swallow.
right, okay, but you don't spit it out.
No. Oh my God, I can't drink the whole bottle. What are you talking about?
Yeah, don't do that. But that's a really good thing if you've got it.
I love the taste. I love the taste of oh my God. So I use the beetless smoke.
Okay, the peppermint and the on guard.
Yeah, I use tangerine sometimes in a smoothie. I love it. Tangerine, lemon, and lemon, ginger, and peppermint. I make a tea, especially when my kids have cold or something like that. It's very, very good. I cook is a Brazilian dish that I make either with fish, shrimp, or both. I like to use just the shrimp, but I use the cilantro. One drop is enough. If you put more than one, it's going to be way too much.
Tell us what that's called. That's my favorite Brazilian dish. My favorite.
It's called muqueca.
Muqueca.
And
oh.
It's really good. And I will make one tomorrow.
Oh, I wish I could be there. I would just invite myself over.
Oh, you're always welcome to come anytime, you know. I would cook for you anytime.
Yum. That sounds so good. But I know I've been to your home. Selema's a good friend too. And we cook a lot together. She's taught me so much about Brazilian food, but she cooks every night with essential oils and just really interesting. I also she's someone that I have to commend for she never leaves home without her essential oils. She has, I mean, you have how many essential oils with you every day? I carry two or three, but you have a lot.
Oh, I have a lot. Oh my God, I have a lot with me. I have Intune, which last week I could not participate because I worked late last week.
Uh-huh.
But I put on a little sock, and I have one sock for rosemary and one for Intune. And I drive, and this is what I use in between sections. I'm a therapist, so I go house to house, and I use those, and of course the beeswax, because the flu season is,
Right.
everybody know how bad it is, this one. So I use it.
And
I
can I
have Frexas, Copaiba, I carry with me, and digestion. Not for me, more for people because a lot of people have that. For anxiety, the Serenity. I carry Serenity. I carry a peppermint.
wow.
A lot.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And just to clarify, not all the ones she mentioned can be taken internally, like Serenity. So that's one. And she, I love that tip to put a little essential oil on a sock. She uses little baby socks, and they're so
Yeah.
cute. And that's a really good way to take essential oils in by inhalation or by aromatic application.
Serenity I take to work with the kids. A
Awesome.
lot of the kids, they is either anxious or have a tantrum. So we make a dragon, like
A
with
dragon?
the toilet. Yeah, with the toilet paper roll the inside. And we cut the paper and glue, and we put Serenity inside, and the kids blow the dragon, and they blow and smell. They blow, and so they smell the Serenity.
What a
Or I
great
just give
tip.
a drop. Yeah, or I just give a drop them, and it really make a difference. Really.
Wow.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Is it okay if I mute you?
Oh yeah, please.
Thanks so much for that comment. Yeah, she's an excellent mental health therapist, works with families. So she works with young kids all the way up to elderly people. So really amazing that she's able to use this in her work, incorporate it in her work. And those were some great tips. Thank you. Anyone else that has anything to share? Press star star to unmute. And by the way, if someone else is talking, feel free to unmute, and that will just show me that you'd like to participate. Star star. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, I had to leave for a couple of minutes because Erica called and she's scheduled for her surgery tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So
Wish her well for us.
thank you, to say some prayers for her. And a couple of things. I guess I've given away all my Spoil Your Pet books from Dr. Frezzo. I couldn't
no.
find mine, and so I was curious about lemongrass, and if that's okay for cats. I've been putting some of that in their litter box, and then I saw something on the internet that certain smells will repel cats. Well, I might be repelling them from their litter box because I've been having a lot of accidents.
Oh no.
On our bed, for one thing.
Well, after the call, I'll look that up for you. I'd be happy to check out lemongrass because I think my copy I got from you, Jackie. So thank you. Another nice
I'm
gift.
Order some more. So if anyone is interested in getting a copy of that. But do let me know what she says about that. And by the way, she really, Dr. Frezzo, really helped me with my dog Mia. When Mia was a little puppy, she was diagnosed with parvo, and Mia helped us get through it. And now she's a big dog.
Very big dog.
Very big dog.
Very, very healthy.
Yeah. And really, Mia was very instrumental in helping my Mia survive. But the other thing I wanted to mention too, the Museum of Modern Art has some new products in their shop, and one of them is a diffuser, an essential oil diffuser. So, it just tells me that it has really reached mainstream. A lot of people are using essential oils now, and now the diffusers are considered works of art.
I'd love to see those. I'll have to check that out. But they're so pretty. Many of them light up, and there's ceramic versions of them, and they are very, very pretty. So thank you for sharing that.
I just have after she mentioned that the lemongrass, it's very good. The tea at night before bed help you to relax. It's really sweet and good.
Well, thank you. Lemongrass tastes really wonderful too.
Carol Tarvash, she's on the call, fixed some fennel tea for me one time, and it was really, really good. Really, it was a nice warm tea. I believe she put a little simple syrup in it too, made it even better tasting.
A little sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jackie, we've got callers waiting. Do you mind? Would it be okay to mute you at this time?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think we've got Nick on the call. Hi, Nick.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, was I on the call the whole time?
You're on the call, but you're also unmuted. Did you mean to be?
Sure.
Tell us what you do with your water, speaking of using essential oils internally.
I actually called. I just wanted to comment on the lemon with the coffee.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised that I never thought of that. And I've been
Me too.
4 times. I've been to Sicily 4 times, and I've never heard of that before. And lemon is my favorite of the foods. And then my second favorite essential oil is lemon oil.
Wow.
My first, and I love coffee. I just never thought of that combination. So I guess tomorrow morning I'm gonna have to put a drop in my coffee.
Thank you, Astrid, for that great idea.
Yeah.
So simple, but you're gonna be really surprised. Make sure it's just 1 drop though, because 2, you'll taste it. 1, you don't. 1, it just takes the bitter away.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
You know how I overdo it, you know?
You do. You're one of those people that loves to, when you find a good thing, you like to overdo it. Me too. Must be in our genes.
So I'll try that tomorrow morning when I go into the office. I'll just put 1 drop in my coffee. And also the modern art comment about the diffusers. That's interesting.
It sure is, because there are some beautiful diffusers out there, but that, as Jackie mentioned, it's an indication that these are becoming more and more mainstream and popular. And when we use them internally, we just need to be extra careful to make sure that they're kind of quality like we have with doTERRA, because otherwise they can be too much. They're really powerful, and it's important to make sure that we go to a good source. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to go on that. I'm diffusing wintergreen in my room in Old New England in the warm winter. 55 degrees warm.
Wow.
Yeah, which is weird.
That is weird.
So that's it. And I just wanted to make the comment on the lemon and the coffee.
Well, thank you so much.
All right.
I'm going to mute you. Have a good evening, Nick. Stay with us. We've just got a couple more minutes to go. Anyone else like to comment?
I have just wanted to share some feedback that I got from two different people this week that had used supplements from doTERRA that I gave them to try out because they had certain things going on. And one of them, she had just bought a house, and you know how that is when you buy, oftentimes funds are limited. So she took on a lot of the renovation work herself, and she's working a full-time job, and she was completely exhausted. So I gave her just a few of these Mito 2 Max supplement soft gels from doTERRA. And she texted me the next day, and she was completely blown away at how much that had helped, taking even only one.
Wow.
And how people had at work and friends had commented to her how she was completely back to her old self and energetic and everything. And there's another lady who I know, she's in her early 70s, I think, and she has had severe back pains and things that she's been dealing with. And she just texted me this morning how she had right scapula and all the way down, right side to the waist in pain. And she took one of the deep blue capsules that I had given her to try out and see how it helps. And she said she went immediately back to sleep. And when she woke up, the pain was completely gone. So she said capsules seem to be working really good for me.
So
That
that's the deep blue polyphenol blend that comes in the capsule.
And so that's only this week. And for me, it's really exciting when I'm getting that kind of feedback from people, because I love it when I have something that I can offer people that helps, and so quickly. I'm super excited about that. And I wanted to share that.
And you are a helper by nature.
Yeah, I guess.
And thank you for that. Jackie has something else to share, Jackie?
Let's see.
I thought you did. No?
No, I guess not. I mean, these are wonderful stories from Astrid. I really loved hearing this.
And I know that you're a big fan too of both deep blue polyphenol and the Mitomax. You got me kind of hooked on the Mitomax too about 6 months ago. It's actually Mito 2 Max, and it's MITO, the number 2, MAX. So that's the energy and stamina formula. And then the other one Astrid mentioned is the deep blue polyphenol. So not the blend that comes in the bottle or the rub, but the capsule that you take internally, the polyphenol. It's amazing. So Jackie and everyone else that's on the call, it's 7 o'clock, and we hope that you'll join us next week for Essential Oils 3030. And I'd like to just close by saying thank you very much to all of you, and have a great weekend and a great rest of the evening. So if you'd like to unmute and say good night, please do.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Have fun with your oils.
Yay.
Goodbye.
Thanks, guys. That's a wrap.